That's not gonna do
All right, now see
it.
that's how it usually pop off. That's it. Hey everybody, what's going on? Troy Rawlings here. Welcome to another exciting episode of Meet the. And that's the girl right there.
Hi, meet me. Meet the meat.
The superstar entertainer veganista? Veganista word? Let me put that
Okay,
down.
that's your new
Veganista.
word. We're gonna put that in the dictionary. It's
Fashionista.
bootylicious. Yeah, I was about to say bootylicious can make it
You said
vegan.
bootylicious?
Bootylicious is in the dictionary.
It is in the dictionary.
Yes.
It's the machine called Bianche. That's how you actually say her name
I
down
say
south.
Bayonne.
Beyonce. Beyond, girl. April Sampe. What's going on, April?
How are you doing? I haven't talked to you in God knows how long. My goodness.
Take two. It's take two. She said she wasn't gonna laugh, but if I'm a comedian, so you got somebody with a crazy laugh and they can't breathe when they laughing. That's the kind of laughs we look for. When they
And that's me.
like, you all right, April? When nothing comes out when they laugh, that's spooky. I don't know why she covered them up. How you feeling?
I'm good.
This is just what usually happens. We talking, and last time when you came to LA at the show, I think we all talked. It was a crew of us talk for 4 hours. It was just too long.
Oh, it was until 3 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning.
Way
And
past.
I was still on DC time, so I stayed up all night as far as I'm concerned.
Oh,
yeah.
I can't do that stuff no more.
No.
So let the people know who don't know. We can act like they don't know. Where are you originally from?
I am originally from the DMV, Maryland, actually, PG County, Prince George's County. But I was raised between the DMV and Louisiana.
Louisiana. Dirty.
Yes. Yes, the dirty South. You can't get no dirty.
Right.
We have dirty
my mom's young in Louisiana. My mom is in Leesville.
Okay. And I bet every time you go down there, you get some good food.
Oh, that's how my mother could cook anyway, but she's from Baltimore. But her cooking is, that's how I learned how to cook. And yeah, it's sad. Even she's getting older now, she's not supposed to be standing up at the stove doing everything and this, that, and other. But she's like, yeah, I was just cooking for 24 hours. How you cook for 24 hours? I just made some pies and some cakes and some turkeys. Turkeys?
With an S? Who does that? Okay. You've seen the whole neighborhood. Okay. Come through, Mama.
All right. So let's get into this thing. I think I mentioned before. I think we met like 16 years ago. It's 2020. Those watching, but like 16 years ago, and she was just a short little thing. She sprouted.
I did.
It's about 5. No, but you were not. We kind of talked about this, and I want to touch on and go into it. People see you now, and they see this statuesque host, streaming and TV host, and vocalist, and all this stuff, but you didn't feel as bold as you seem on the outside. I don't know. Do you still struggle with those images?
I do.
I
think, I'm human. So, and so for the world to know, what you're referring to is the fact that I'm now branded as ugly. I have created the Ugly album. I've created the Ugly tour, which hopefully will happen. It's supposed to happen in 2020. 2021 is always around the corner. Ugly clothing, Ugly album, Ugly tour, and and the movement continues. So what Ugly stands for is understand God loves you. It originally started because I have had so many people say so many negative things about me. in the industry. And I'll tell you one funny story. Um, there was a man who was very interested in me. I was walking out of BET. I was dancing for a show called BET Soundstage Concert. He was interested in me, but because I wouldn't, um, I guess, join him on the casting couch, he then started telling me, you know what, you're not as beautiful as you think you are. You're really fat. You're really this. You're really that. He was like, you're never going to work in this industry. And again, I believed him. So one thing that happens in society is people say things that are negative to you. And the more they say negative things, the more people believe them. I think it's a study that shows you hear if 10 people say something positive and one person, I'm sorry, 9 people say something positive and one person says something negative, you believe the person that says something negative. And I just got it from so many different angles. I believed it. And it, I learned about this guy named, why do I keep forgetting his name? Oh my goodness. Because I forgot his name the last time.
What?
Okay, anyway.
Author or philosopher?
He created Mind Valley.
Oh, I don't know. You mentioned Mind
Phase
Valley.
meditation.
Not,
Vishan
not Trop-
Lakiani. His name, no, Vishan Lakiani. That's his name. I know it's like that's a hard name to remember, but no, I always say his name because I always refer people to him. But somebody sent me the 6 phase meditation, and I started doing it. And the more I did it, the more I advanced as far as I'm concerned. I started doing daily affirmations. Um, and once I started doing daily affirmations, I learned that even though you don't believe anything that you're saying to yourself, the more you say it, the more your mind hears it, and it becomes a part of your subconscious mind. And so after a while, you start looking at yourself in the mirror, and before you see something ugly, and that ugly turns into a positive image. And so I wanted to change the word ugly and make it something positive. So again, it's not that person's ugly. It's that person is ugly. Understand God loves you. That person is understanding that God loves you. It's like if you can see the God in someone else, then you can definitely see the God in yourself. So the album is definitely not religious, but it is definitely motivating. So that is where I am right now. I'm
no,
ugly.
I think that's the most powerful thing. I've been talking about that this past week, reading on it. I picked up Napoleon Hill's. I thought I had it before, Think and Grow Rich. I picked up his
Hmm.
book, and I'm a big Tony Robbins. I don't want to call it fan, but when I saw I Am Not Your Guru on Netflix, I was in tears
Yeah.
because for years you've seen my live shows, when I do my live shows and go and speak and do different things, and I could be standing in front of people for 4 hours, and I didn't know some of the things I was doing with techniques. But I tell my friends and people around me and people closest to me, I tell them how much it's, I was asking my lady today, I was like, when's the last time do you look in the mirror and smile? You look in the
Yeah.
mirror and say, I'm beautiful. And she's gorgeous. But her mentality is so business, so corporate, so focused. And we get so caught up in this. And I had to tell her, I said, baby, but you're not your job.
Hmm.
I said, you do it phenomenally. But God forbid, somebody said this years ago, God forbid, you die. And they be like, oh, Lord, they be singing at the funeral, here come home, the upper room. Okay, we got a meeting it.
Right. Right. I
They
mean,
will go on.
that is a true story. I've actually witnessed it
And you
many
you
times
come
at
from,
the bank.
yeah, I was about to say, you come from, I'm gonna say that first. You come from a corporate piece.
Yes.
You've always had a fly gig. You were doing banking. I don't know how many years you were in banking.
23.
23 years in banking. And
Yeah.
for the people, for that person, that man or woman who's watching right now, and you have a passion, because April was big. I used to hit up April and be like, look, what are you doing? Let's do this. She's like, Troy, I have a certain lifestyle I'm used to living. Thank you. But also the fact that, people can see you and define you by your career, or like a lot of us did with you, define you by your talent.
Mhm.
And that's why I love when I asked you, I said, so what singer? She was like, I'm an entertainer, Troy. It's a lot of things I can do. It's not just singing. But for you, when did you know that your voice governed or garnered or brought a lot of attention to you?
Um, Before I could really talk, I was singing. You know what? I actually told you about me in the hair salon with my grandmother, but I'll tell you something funnier. I remember I was probably 5. I was on my way to Louisiana with my mom, and we were on the plane, and there was a lot of turbulence. And so I started singing gospel songs. Ask me one gospel song. I can't sing any gospel songs now, but at that time I knew all of them. And I'm singing gospel songs. And afterwards, when the plane landed, I got off the plane, not first, but earlier than a lot of people. And as I was walking down the aisle, people were clapping for me. Now, realistically, let's be real, these people were clapping because they were like, get the hell off the plane, shut up, child. But
The
in
whole
my
flight.
head, I sang the whole flight, yeah. Um, but in my head, they were clapping for me because I was singing. So it was like, oh, well, I'm going to do this every chance I get. And I remember going to school, like, excuse me, I'm going to sing today. They're like, it's time for math. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm going to sing before the math class. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss
So,
Teacher.
right. Yeah.
This little
So,
light.
this little light of mine. Yeah, that was me. So, there you go.
And
Now you know another piece.
now, all right, this on artistic, because I've been doing artist development for years and working with artists and producing. Some people don't realize how much I love producing shows, and especially music shows and concerts and stuff. I've been in love with that since I was started doing it at 15. And I've worked with you on a couple different occasions. Where's your love? Um, you have a serious love for hip hop and reggae and intertwine that a lot of times in your music. Where
Yeah.
did that come from?
I don't know. I don't know.
Or is it that you do like response so much because you can see like it's going to be hard if you're following April in a show because she's gonna you you pull you it's an instant different response when you're singing and people looking at you like, and then all of a sudden you start beatboxing and hip hop and reggae and they were like, ah! Is it the response?
No,
Is it
well,
still
yes, but so again, I'm from the DMV, and the funny thing is, I've never been a go-go head, right? But it's something about the drum, the jungle drums. You know what I mean? That go-go swing that you get when they come out of pocket. Boom. Yeah. No, 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 no. I'm talking about I mean, don't get it twisted. Chuck Brown is the man, but
Red
oh
Essence, the
yeah,
junkyard?
man,
Come on, junkyard.
Junkyard, Essence. Oh my God, Backyard, like all of them. And then I was I was introduced to that. Then I was introduced to reggae, which they're not the same. They don't have the same beat, but they have the same they
African
give
drum.
you that same, yeah, and
African.
it's true. Like as soon if I hear like a serious African beat, it doesn't matter what country, it doesn't matter what what
And
region, what
Afrocentric.
yeah, it's something about it. I turn into a different person. I love it. And I can't even dance. I cannot dance. My husband is like, please stop dancing. Like I try to do like sexy dances for him. He's like,
When it just gets uncomfortable, it's like
right.
y'all
I'm
at a
like,
party, you like do, 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 do.
yeah, no.
He's like the weight is
But I
coming back.
can give him a show. I give him a show. So he wants me to sing to him. I'll sing, but dance, mm-mm. But it's like as soon as the music, and here's the funny thing. Okay, here's another funny thing. You sitting down for this one? I used to dance my ass off back in the day. I was sitting down. In my head, I was gonna be the dance hall queen. I was like, Patrick can't dance better than me. What? It's April saying paycheck. I was ready to go to Jamaica and be crowned dance hall queen. hmm
Well,
Um,
let me explain something to you. When we watch those music videos, that's as clean as they can get. When you go to Jamaica
oh, I know.
and the girls are doing the they don't even do competitions on their feet anymore. They're like, oh, I got the headstand. What
Yeah,
you want this? You want
yeah.
this? And the lip
But
pulling.
I used to be able to do them. I could do the head. Like I'm telling you, I used to be able to do all of that back in the
Uh,
day. And then one day I stopped being able to dance.
April is 6 foot flat footed. So if
Five
she
ten.
do a headstand, she kicking ceiling fans.
Yeah, true story.
Plates
But
are
I
coming off.
could do it all. I could do it all. Okay? And I hate the fact that when you get older, all of a sudden you start being more conscious of, oh my God, what if I break something?
Yeah, yeah. It's like if I go down, am I really gonna
Will
be
I
able to come
be
up?
able to get back up?
Your knees start popping. I think the knee popping thing is like a old person alarm. It's like
Yeah,
you need to go back. Pop. You need to go back up. Once you
yeah.
get to 3 pops, you might not get back up.
You will not get back
that that
You fall down. Yeah,
all right. All right. So the
sorry.
ve- the vegan mission. The
Yeah.
vegan mission. You know, you said you've been a vegan for a little over 4 years, about 4 years or so. And
Um,
what took you on that path as far as being a vegan, eating healthier? What took you on that path?
fibroids. So, I found out I had fibroids. A lot of women of color have fibroids. And I went to the doctor and she said, you know, you have them. You have a lot of pain. I'm going to give you birth control. So I'm like, okay, well, how do you get fibroids? So we don't know. What we do know is that a lot of women, they grow when you're pregnant. I'm like, okay. We're just talking. And a few minutes later, it hits me. Sir, ma'am? Sir, ma'am,
Sir,
did
ma'am.
you just did you just tell? Well, and I'm sorry. Let me back up a little bit. That it's pretty much they pretty much equate it to our hormonal imbalance. Okay,
Okay.
so pretty much she said, I'm gonna give you birth control for these fibroids.
Hmm.
Birth control is hormones. They say we're trying to regulate your hormones, but our body is made to regulate itself, and we don't pay attention to that. Our body is made to heal itself. We don't need any added drugs or anything else, nothing to help it. It will regulate itself. So when she said that, it hit me. I'm like, you know what? I don't need any additional drugs. I'm good. I'll figure this out. I went home. I did research. I found out that they're constantly injecting cows with hormones to keep them pregnant. Um, in order to keep producing milk, which I used to drink milk. Um, they're constantly giving chickens hormones to keep them pregnant so that they will produce eggs. I eat their eggs. I used to eat their eggs. And so I'm realizing everything that I'm eating
Eating.
has been given additional hormones in order to be produced.
Hmm.
I'm going to take that out of my system. I'm going to do it for a month to see how I feel. And in that month, I did a lot of research and I uncovered so much. And I said, you know what? I'm not eating meat anymore. What made it continue was an experience that I had in New York City. And I'm not even going to go into that, but I had a very negative experience in New York that made me understand how much people value animals versus humans. And I'm a very compassionate person. Please don't hurt an animal. I don't care. Like, I have been that person that will get out of my car on the side of the street to get a turtle from being hit. I've done that on numerous occasions. Um, and I will continue to be that person. But I also am that person that sees a homeless person and will do whatever it takes to help them, providing I know that they're actually homeless because they can't, they can't do for themselves. Um, I think that we don't pay enough attention to people when it comes to their mental health,
Mhm.
but we pay a lot of attention to an animal if it is malnourished. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I've seen
Like
it.
we don't pay attention to people who are malnourished, people who are dealing with mental problems, people who are dealing with physical problems, but the animal is making some noise in a corner.
See, California, you'll see a homeless guy with a dog out there, and people will come and feed the dog and look at him like, "Why do you have?" I've heard a lady say, "Why do you have this dog out here?" And he's like,
This
"We
is
both
where I
homeless."
live.
Like,
Right.
well, I can provide a home for the dog, ma'am.
Uh, Sir, ma'am.
Right.
Like, really? This is what we're doing now? Like, no. I am all for saving the animals, but I think we need to make sure that we're taking care of the people so that we can have more people to take care of the animals. That
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah. So
Um,
what did you? What was the? Did it help with your fibroids when you transitioned?
Sorry, I kind of went all up like
No. You were good.
sorry.
You because it
Yes,
you probably give one of the best explanations because a lot of times you meet some vegans and they say, "Do you know what they do to animals? Let me show you on this. Look at it.
yes,
When you eating a hamburger
yes.
earlier, I was like, whoa, slow down." You said it in a very like you said you're a compassionate way, but I like to hear people's journey on why they do certain things health wise
Mhm.
because I've for years I didn't eat pork or beef and I did certain things health wise. I started changing my diet to put on muscle mass and things like that. Now I'm getting older. You transition. You like
Yeah.
you say, you listen to your body, and like you schooled me on something the other day. I was like, well, try listening to my body, not my urges. You're like, well, Troy, if you're craving something, or not your cravings, if you're craving something, you probably need more of that, which I
Mhm.
realized. But like I said, if you're like, oh, I want some fish, you may be craving omega 3s. So here's some
Mhm.
ways you get omega 3s. And if the
Or
fish,
or iodine. I mean,
right?
there's whatever it is, but you really do need to pay attention to what it is that your body is craving. Yes. To answer your question, yes, it definitely helped. That month, um, for the first time in a long time, I had a whole night's sleep. It took probably about 2.5 weeks, and once I got to that 2.5 week mark, I slept like a baby. My boyfriend at the time, now my husband, he couldn't believe it. He's like, since I met you, you have never slept through the night ever. Um, it's been years. It was years before I actually could sleep through the night. And when I had that first night sleep, I woke up like, what in the hell? Why was I not doing this years ago? And pretty much everybody that I've coached says the same thing. They're like, I should have done this years ago. Like, yeah, you should have. Hmm. So yeah, I turned into a whole different person.
And you actually got certified. That's a certification up there. I don't know. We gotta make sure we had some technical difficulties last time. As a vegan life coach.
I'm a certified vegan life coach and educator. Yeah,
I love it.
I
And I
can
love you
educate people.
in your show. How did you come up with Veg Out and Dine? How did you come up with that and Veg Out Live? How did you come up with the thing of just that whole concept?
Veg Out and Dine was created because it originally started. I said I was going to do a cooking show. My husband said he would never eat vegan food, and so I said I'm going to make it my journey, like my purpose, to introduce you to every single vegan restaurant in the DMV. We went to like five, and he was like, "Okay, I can't believe the food is so good." I said, "Okay, now I'm gonna make you some food." So I started cooking. I made like jambalaya. I made vegan gumbo. I mean, like everything that I would make with meat, I made it without. And he was very impressed. And he goes, you know, you need to do a cooking show. I'm like, you know what? I should do a cooking show.
Like it was your idea. You know what I'm
Well,
thinking?
what did I think about it? But I'm gonna tell you why I totally disagree. I love to cook. I don't like to clean. And I am not that person that will measure out everything. I hate measuring everything. It makes my ass itch. So I'm like, you know what I really like?
You said
I
measuring
like
makes your ass itch.
it does. It does.
So does
Um,
your vegan diet help with the ass itching?
do
does it
you
does
have
it come?
itchy ass syndrome? Go vegan.
Oh, vegan.
No.
That's a t- that's a t-shirt.
That is the t-shirt. I said I wouldn't do this. Um, so
That covering the smile gets me every time.
I don't know. It's always it's the thing. I went. I told my husband I really like restaurants. I like going out to eat. Every chance I get, if I can go to a restaurant, life is great. You know why? Because I don't have to clean up anything. um, I started writing out a plan for me going out to different restaurants and doing the Guy Fieri's diners, drive-ins, and dives. And I'm like, you know what? This is it. This is it. And then reality struck again. There's no reality show about anyone living the vegan lifestyle. And one thing that people don't really understand is the struggle of a vegan. And what I mean by that is, like right now, I live down south. Um,
Woo.
living where I live, there are not any vegan restaurants anywhere. None. Nay one. Nay one.
But you probably can open your door and smell the barbecue coming up from the essence of.
Excuse me, there is a meat packing place like miles and miles and miles away. And there was one day I went outside. I'm like, oh my God, what is that smell? And this guy goes, oh yeah, there's a meat packing place. I'm like, how far away is it? He's like, about 10 miles. Why am I smelling it here?
Wow.
Yeah, that's a problem. Um, Again, itchy ass. I digress. So it transformed from, a cooking show to a reality show. And it's pretty much following my journey as an entertainer and, seeing my life on the road, uh, seeing, every experience that I have. So when you stop at a place like Timbuktu, whatever, and they don't have a vegan restaurant, how do I overcome those obstacles?
Yeah,
So,
I have a friend, Tony Baker. He's a comedian, and he's vegan now, or close to full vegan. I don't know if he still eats fish or not, but it might be pescatarian. I think he's mostly vegan. But he talks about that when they travel and then they had a tour and he would stop in certain places. So it ended up happening going to certain cities and he would point out places that have very good vegan. I mean, we're blessed here in Los Angeles because, especially
everywhere.
shout out to Vitri.
Oh
You
my
who
God. Listen. And you know what? I have to say this. I love LA, for the little bit of time that I was there. I love LA, right? Because just like you said, there's a vegan restaurant everywhere. But one thing that I've noticed, um, people don't season their food like they do over here, which is why V-Tree is so needed.
Mm.
The V-Tree Hollywood, let me make that very clear. The V-Tree Hollywood is definitely needed over in that area. I had to put some DC on it. Because my God, I was like, excuse me, do I need that is why Beyonce carries hot sauce in her bag. Because she's going to LA. You never thought about that. Hmm.
I just thought she was a Houston chick that just never
No.
got it from her mama.
She's going to LA and she realized she needed hot sauce in her bag because there's so many people
Need
in
some
the
hot
LA
sauce in my
area.
bag.
What? She needed that because, in LA, everybody is focused on being so beautiful and they don't eat. Like,
Well, it's very spoiled here. I'm from Baltimore, we're BMV too, and I remember talking to a friend of mine on the phone, my friend Christian, and he was talking. He was like, "Yeah," and he leaves I hear him leaving his house. He lives on the corner of Liberty Road and or Liberty Road, Old Court, somewhere around. And he's like, "Yeah, hold on a second. All right, let me get that turkey wing platter." And then I was like, "Where are you?" He said, "Oh, one spot's across the street, one of the spots. Yeah, in the side order chilling." And I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "What? We spoiled. We can go to Park Heights and
yeah,
get authentic Jamaican. We can get the seafood.
yeah,
We can go down to the harbor and get the seafood that just jumped off the boat, literally. Like it's like, where we at? Up." Crabs get upside the head. We don't hit them upside the head, but anything you want. You want a Philly style cheesesteak? You can go anywhere. You can go to Greek Village. You can go wherever. So we're spoiled with a lot of stuff. They have it here in California. Los Angeles kind of spread out. But you're right, it's not the same as that old Negro spiritual Mason Dixon line. If it ain't an old black woman humming in the kitchen, right? Oh Lord, you go in there and like, I thought it was like 8 people in here singing. No, that was just me in the pots, baby. Yeah, so
yes,
yeah,
facts.
so it's a different experience. So, but I'm very proud of you. I'm very proud of you the way
Thank
you
you.
we always talk about branding and stuff like that. But it's funny because a lot of the walk that I'm experiencing now is like I, all I keep hearing is do what you love, do what you love. What have you found lately that has been like a love supreme for you when it comes to this entertainment or being in front of people? Or what are you really loving right now that you're doing?
You know what? I can say I'm loving my movement. And what I mean by that, like, I'm loving the fact that I'm creating the ugly movement. I'm loving the fact that right now I have a group of people who are doing a smoothie cleanse. Um, I had a long conversation with myself and God that I had to make a promise to both He and myself that everything that I do moving forward would be something positive. You know, not saying that I ever had a desire to do negative things. It was just that it was all for self. It was
Mm,
selfish as opposed to being selfless. And now I'm looking at how I can be a better me so that I can positively impact others. I think that when you look at at your purpose, you have to follow that purpose. And I realized since I was a kid, my purpose has been to help others grow. You know what I mean? So the ugly movement, it's really to get people to start looking at themselves as kings, queens. I don't care what color you are. I don't care what your background is. I don't care where you come from. Um, we all have to unite. We all have to be one, and we all have to be able to work together and build, as opposed to tearing each other down. And you have to start from yourself. You have to start within. I think that the biggest problem is that we're constantly tearing ourselves down, which in turn makes us tear down others. And
yes.
so, if we can build ourselves up, we can help other people
Now for
grow.
you, what techniques do you use? What techniques do you wake up in the morning? Are you a morning person by nature?
I'm a person. Depends on what's going
Uh,
on. Like, it'll be, if I'm
well, what do
entertaining,
you
I'm a
do
night owl.
if you feel yourself swaying? Like I was telling some people that if I it's certain things that I do that I realize I get from, especially my aunt. My mom would do it, but when I was saying my aunt Joyce, she just had a routine every morning. Time she'd get up, start opening all the windows in the house, water her plants, turn the TV on. By the time she's cooking and the coffee and the food is smelling up the house, it just made you feel good, like it's morning time. You know, what things do you do if you feel yourself going down? Are there any techniques or things that you learn to do when you look in the mirror, affirmations? And you talked about the 6 affirmations, but anything else that you do that people could, like, if you're coaching somebody, say, look, just try this one thing. for a week, and we'll take you to the next thing.
Yeah, that is a good question. For me, I'm always checking myself, and I'm blessed to have amazing people in my corner. And what I mean by that is my husband will check me, my friends will check me, and if I'm doing something that's just not right, they'll be like, you know what? You need to check yourself.
Right.
And that's I'll go through a meditation period. Is that what you mean, or do you mean like if
Yeah.
I'm just like
Anything.
drained?
What are the things that help you stay on point with your attitude on that? But if you're feeling down, like because the place you talk about coming from, where if somebody said you were ugly, you were like, yeah, okay, I get it, because it was already confirmation to the negative stuff you had going on in your
Right.
head. So it wasn't on. And even like you said, one time some dude said, "How does it feel to be the ugly one?" And it's like, "Girl, why'd you cuss him out?" He was like, and you said that wasn't even an option.
Was it?
Like, because that means it was just okay, whatever. And I know where that comes from when you hear something so much, but
You believe it?
and you believe it.
So I don't remember her name. There is a motivational speaker, beautiful woman. She actually lost a lot of weight. And she does a lot with Mind Valley. Anyway, one
Lisa
thing
Nichols.
that she said, Lisa Nichols. Oh my God, I love Lisa Nichols. So she said, write down in your book, like I think she said 35 things or 25 things. I don't remember. But every day, write those things down. And I tried that once. And I tried it. And I'm like, I don't think this works. And I went back to it. And instead of rewriting it, I just started reading it. And it was all of the things that I wanted to be but wasn't. And when I realized I actually am a lot of those things, I just didn't believe it. Other people believed it more than I did. And so I'd say that's something that you can do is write down everything that you want to be, but you don't believe you are. And after a while, the more you read it, the more you'll realize I'm doing all of these things. I am this person. And to your point, a lot of people believe that their job is who they are. And that's total bull. I believe that for the longest time. And I'll tell you, I used to cry myself to work every single day. I would literally have tears in my eyes. I would have to redo my makeup as soon as I got to the office. And then by the time I actually got in the parking lot, I'd be crying some more and halfway missed my meeting because I was so unhappy. And it took me looking at myself every day like, no, you are better than this. You are talented, you know, like I am talented. I am awesome. I am beautiful. I am smart. I am capable. I am enough. When you start looking at yourself and constantly saying those words or reading those words about you, if you don't believe it after a while, then maybe you do need to, go get some actual help, which is a song on my album, no, upcoming album,
Therapy.
titled titled Therapy. Um, but if after a while, if you're not believing those positive words, then maybe you do need to get some help. Maybe you do need somebody to talk to. Not talking about medication. I mean, sometimes that is an option, but I'm saying sometimes just talking it out will help. So.
Yeah, it's been a taboo for years. I'm thankful that mental health is now hashtag mental health awareness and stuff. It's been taboo for years, especially for African Americans, African heritage people, people of color, whatever. Certain communities it's just taboo to think about going to therapy. Well, some people got their therapists on a plan, just like they go to the grocery store. So I think whatever it is you need, like I said, there's so many things, and of course there are natural remedies to everything. Every medication that there is has a natural element, has a natural ingredient that is the main ingredient that gets cut down and stripped and processed to expand. So if people think about stuff like that, they'll realize that. And now we have Google. It's like, all right, if you look natural remedy, there's a natural remedy for everything. and especially those who've been locked in the house and ready to kill your mate. Get some of these The word aphrodisiac is actually a food. Aphrodisiacs are foods first. It's not the little pills you get to make your it will stimulate
No.
you for the next 12 hours. First off, that's kind of unhuman. Second, you're gonna be rock hard for the next 18 hours. You're gonna die.
Right, and then you'll go to Rosa. And you've
Me in the corner.
the rest of
This is make
No.
you. That's funny. The same things that tell you we're gonna make you strong like a bull for all this time. If this erection happens to stay for more than 3 hours, please run to the hospital. You can't run the 3 hour. We can't run anywhere with that.
Call 911. Wait, but are you a Seinfeld head? Did you ever watch Seinfeld?
Yeah, I like Sampe.
Okay. Did you ever see the episode where George Costanza couldn't get it up, and then he had mangoes, and he's like,
Mango
I think it
or
was
something in the bed, or what was it? Mango or watermelon? It was mango, probably.
it was mango, and I mean, what you're saying is 100% true. Like people don't pay attention to their body. It's just that simple. If you listen to your body will tell you everything that you need. It's funny. My husband always looks at me. He's like, "Oh, self-diagnosing again?" Yes. I like.
Did he say, "Are you
something?
self-diagnosing me again?" Is that what he said?
No, me. Like
Oh, okay.
if something
Like
is
I can't
hurting, I'll be like,
self-diagnose.
no. But
Get
if
my
something
spoon.
is hurting,
I'm sorry. The other day, if you see the little clip I put up on IG, other day she was like a husband. I just say it. There's no other way to say it. She said, I was like, "Just get my smoothie." I was like, "Your husband says that?" He's like, "No, he doesn't really say that." So I was like, put in your mind, get those negative thoughts out your mind. You see him sitting there looking at TV, he's probably thinking, "Get my goddamn smoothie."
no, no.
That's so crazy.
That was hilarious. I was telling you something, and now I don't even remember.
Sorry, y'all.
How dare you? There you go. That's it. What had happened was I fell and it had rained.
This is the part. This is the part we see, and that's why it's funny. And nothing wrong with. Let me tell y'all something. This don't mean everybody go quit your job. Lord knows, you still got a job right now. Hold on to it. But if you're crying yourself to work, and what you see, and the fun part of April, you see and stuff like that, voices, everybody can be serious and that. But I can imagine certain times where you just had to be straight corporate and you're talking to everybody and they're looking at you. People coming in like, "What was this statuesque?" She's in the back, "Hey, how are you doing?" And you want to be but you got to be professional, but you got to be, it's like, I have a bad thing for Dexter. I thought that there's a show called Dexter. You ever see the show? And he's always living this, the commentary in his own mind.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I feel sometimes if you're not doing your passion, your dream. I think we're in a dispensation of time where you're inspiring people all the time anyway, but you're inspiring people to like, okay, not only am I doing this to the T, I'm singing, I'm performing, but that ain't it. Guess what? I'm a vegan and I love it. And I'm going to interview other people and I'm going to do this. And when anyone from ABC to BET to NBC to anybody, streaming networks call me to do hosting, I'll do that. I may be here. I may be there. So no limits on it. Whereas not too long ago, me and you would have the conversation. I was like, "Yo, so what?" Yeah, I got, yeah.
Again, I realized how much I love me more. And that is a hard pill to swallow. Um, realizing self-love is a wow moment, I think, for anybody. Because when you realize that you love yourself, all of a sudden you realize I didn't love myself before. And that is hard to believe. You start questioning everything and you have to like kind of bite the bullet and just grow from there. So yeah, self love is beast.
All right. We're gonna, before we get out of here, what else do you have to say to the people? First off, what, if anything, because I asked you what do you love so much about now? You said your own movement, which is great. What
Mhm.
would you like to say to encourage people going forward, especially now? And like you, these aren't just people that have a passion, and you had a passion for years and a profession, So I'm just letting you guys know she was a well-paid professional at the
Oh,
job.
very, very well paid.
You know what I'm saying?
Very
So
well paid.
in the DMV and the demographic, the female demographic who are professional in DMV do well, but she wanted more. She wanted more for herself. So what would you say? What would you say to inspire some folk that may be on the edge? Like, I don't know what's going on, especially now because I think it's on everybody's mind, either their nightmares or their dreams.
Mm.
So
Now,
dream stage.
well, first thing, Steve Harvey said something that I think is valid. He said, just because it's your passion doesn't mean it's what you're supposed to do.
Right.
And the reason I say that is because there are a lot of people who are passionate about singing. Let me say this right in the camera. Please stop. Okay? If just because your mama said you could sing, that does not mean you can sing. Okay? Okay. Let's come back. Um, make sure that your passion is something that you actually have a talent for. That's number one. Number two, if that is not your talent, find out what you can do within your passion to actually make money that's maybe outside of it. So, what I mean by that is if you love music, maybe become a producer, maybe, or learn, do something in that field.
You
So,
feel
I'm sorry, I had to put the negative out there first. If this is your talent and your passion, follow it. Um, don't chase your dream. Don't chase your dream. Don't follow your dream. Become it. That's what I want to say. Because you're not your job, but if that is what you are as a person, meaning if you are a singer and that is who you are, then you're a singer. But it doesn't mean that you're an entertainer. It doesn't mean that you're going to make money off of it professionally. It just means that that's who you are and what you do. Does that make sense?
makes a lot of
Um,
sense.
so I would say,
And I'm glad you because a lot of people don't put the distinction on that. They just say, "Oh, if that's your passion, go for it." And people are like, "But I can't pay my bills."
right.
And it's like, okay, you got to be. It's creative. It's the reason why people who wanted to be a doctor for years start other businesses. Why
Hmm.
lawyers have real estate,
Yeah.
or other things. You have to learn how to diversify and do as much. I don't think we were ever meant to do just one thing,
No.
um, unless you're Luther or Howard Hewitt.
Right.
Howard Hewitt said, I think he said he tried to work in a shoe store one time. He just left singing one day and was like, I just can't take this anymore. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, it's something where, and it's something where you have to be in it. We realize that life is precious, and you
Yeah.
have to be in it. And I want to have a somber tone to this at all, but it's it's
No.
it's real. I
Be
think
in it.
now more than ever, it's a reality talk for people.
Well, and I'll add one more thing. Even if you are not able to do your passion right at this moment, I would definitely tell you 100% do not do anything that you are crying every day to do. I don't care how much money you're making. I don't care what it takes. Find something else. Do something else, something that makes you happy, something that brings joy to your life, something that positively affects others so that it can positively affect you. I think that the biggest problem is we all go to a place that we hate and we believe that that's what is supposed to happen. If we watch Married with Children, I'm sorry, but I bring up old TV shows because usually people can relate. But if you bring up Married with Children, Al Bundy hated going in and selling shoes every day, but he did it because he had to do it. He wasn't skilled to do anything else. And the way I see it is he could have sold shoes at Nordstrom as opposed to selling shoes at the local whatever name shoe store. That way, maybe he would have been in an environment that he felt more comfortable. And I think that that's something that people need to do. Change your environment. if you're in a place that people are constantly putting you down, you don't deserve to be there. And maybe the next person coming in after you will be able to put that person in their place. And maybe you just don't have it. And that's okay. You can go someplace where you are definitely accepted. Because, like I said before, within your daily affirmations, you are enough. And you have to constantly tell yourself you are enough. When people constantly put you down, that's telling you that you're not. And with you accepting that, that means you're not enough. So change it. Change your atmosphere. And maybe it'll change your whole mindset. And with that, you're welcome,
Sam-
America.
April Sampe, y'all. April Sampe. April Sampe. I'm gonna say you can follow her at put your head down, girl. You can follow her at April Sampe or at Veg Out and Dine, all one words, or at Veg Out Live. That's where you can get in touch with her at. April.
Yes.
Thank you, baby. Thank you, sis. I
I'm
appreciate you.
here for you and no one else. True story. True story.
Talk to you soon. Love you,
Definitely.
girl.
Love you more.
Thank you for
Thank you so
taking a
much.
minute. And we got to get you back out here to Los Angeles ASAP. So if y'all need a host for your TV shows and streaming, and she does some acting too.
I do. I do. I can act a fool. Too much. Understand.